Welcome to the Healing Practice Podcast, a space for navigating the natural seasons of womanhood and personal growth. Hosted by Claire Cleaver, author, counsellor, and practitioner, this podcast explores the key stages of womanhood, from the first bloom of puberty, through fertility and birth, to the powerful transition of perimenopause and menopause. Drawing on years of experience supporting women and families, Claire shares practical insights and reflective tools designed to restore balance, release what's been held, and support emotional and physical well-being. This podcast is about listening, understanding, and walking your path with greater clarity and compassion. Wherever you are on your journey, you're welcome here.
Welcome and thank you for joining us today. I hope that you will enjoy the topic and that it will be useful for you. And so our topic today is honoring your body's wisdom at any age. So let's start. So if we look at the timeline of women, we'll start with adolescence because they are pretty much the four pillars that the healing practice is focused on. So we have adolescence, which is the first bloom of young womanhood. And then we have fertility, which is the next bloom, if you like, the next season. And then we have pregnancy, where a woman becomes a mother, and the art of mothering, which is an ongoing thing for many years. And in that mothering, she also is mothering herself, and there's a lot going on. And then the final seasonal bloom in womanhood is perimenopause, menopause, and that aging beyond. So that is the broad parameters of the time span of women. And so we come back to this topic, honoring your body's wisdom at any age. So it's tempting to just jump in anywhere, but we're going to keep it in a timeline. So we'll look at adolescence. And so this is an important phase as a young girl begins to discover her female shape, her body, and also to be able to honor that in respectful ways. And part of that is developing an appreciation, an honest and loving appreciation for her body. These days, with social media making such an impact on how a young girl might view herself, the whole comparative game, and game sounds like it's something that's not dangerous, but it is. So it's a process of breaking down, if you like, a young girl's sense of self, who she thinks she's supposed to be compared to what she is seeing out there. And so that comparison is played out among a girl's cohort of friends in the different activities that she joins in, and then even with the young boys that she is starting up relationships with or wanting to be, again, that sense of belonging. Which group do I belong to? How do I feel about myself? Will people like me? Do I have to blend in? Do I have to be like them? And invariably in any group, there will always be the leader, the more dominant person. And so a young girl can find that she gives away her voice in order to appease and to please the group structure. And so honoring your body's wisdom at this age is coming back to yourself. And a young girl can do that, particularly in the safety of her home. So her mother, hopefully, will always have her daughter's back. And that young girl's mother is very much the model that she looks to bounce off, to check, this is how my mother does it. Do I like this or not? So she uses that comparison as well. But nonetheless, her mother will be perceived as that safe person, that safe anchor that she can come back to check in with herself, to seek refuge. And she will need to seek refuge from what is happening in her young life as she navigates relationships about herself with others, and particularly the relationship with herself. Developing self-respect comes from learning to like herself, learning to accept her body as it is, to accept it without criticism and judgment. And that takes a quiet kind of courage these days. It never used to, but it does. And so she needs support in that. And again, that will mostly be her mother or friends that she can trust who do have her back. So this is this interesting navigation of how to honor your body's wisdom during adolescence. Little things, going home, looking at herself in the mirror, liking what she sees, brushing her hair, developing pleasure about brushing her hair, finding out a little bit more about her own sexuality and liking that, not being frightened by it, by realizing that she can give herself pleasure if she's of the right age. She doesn't need to be frightened of that. And that the best way to be picky or to understand what pleasure is about, sexual pleasure, is to find her own sense, her own standard, her own measure of pleasure. So it's a big one. It's a big one. And this sets her up for that next shift into the fertile woman. And this is a big area because she's more or less done her schooling. And what is the right age? Adolescence, anything from 11, hopefully not earlier, but sometimes it is, but pretty much from 11, when a young girl gets her period, that marks the threshold of stepping into that first bloom of womanhood. And then probably, if we would say roughly 10, 11 years, that brings her to 20. 20, she's done her schooling, perhaps. Maybe she's going to university, maybe she's having a gap year, maybe she's already working, whatever she might be doing with her life. But she's on that next little threshold of jumping off into becoming an adult. And we know that adulthood, with all the new studies, it starts a little bit later. But nonetheless, 21 is often seen as the stepping stone into adulthood. And so there she is, poised, ready to wow the world in this beautiful young female body. And she does. And so we've heard all the platitudes, the world is your oyster. And so a young woman is getting a new job. She's either making new friends, more education. She's gone overseas. And she's very aware of herself, but still self-conscious. And so sometimes in that self-consciousness, she can be not necessarily understanding the power that she has. And that's an odd word to use, but that female sexual power that a young woman has, she needs to be careful there. She needs to be coming back to that sense of what is her body's wisdom at this age. So she's still in an exploratory phase, and she needs to honor herself again by being selective and picky about the people that she chooses to be around her, because those people that you allow into your space, you want them to reflect your own value, sense of value. You want them to reciprocate your sense of self-respect. So you choose the right people to hang out with, to be with. And so sometimes young women might then choose to become pregnant, fall in love, and have babies and all of that. But nonetheless, honoring your body's wisdom at this age is a really integral question of coming home. What is it that I want? What do I know about myself? What is this beautiful vehicle that I'm in, whatever that vehicle looks like? How do I take care of it? How do I show it off in the world? How do I project myself? Because females pretty much are viewed through a male lens. And unfortunately, there's always a backlash if women dress overly provocatively, what might be seen as provocatively, too much flesh, too much cleavage, all those sorts of things, too much leg. And so women are caught in a bind at times in a way that young men growing up never get to understand or experience. They never get to understand or experience why young girls run the gauntlet at social occasions in terms of their behaviour, and that there is easy criticism pointed at young girls in the way that they behave in social situations. And we're not talking about young girls now, we're talking about young women. So young women need to protect themselves and honour their body's wisdom by checking in with themselves, having a sense of, I am enough, I am worthy, and I choose to be with the right people in the best way that I can. And there's more that can be said about that, because this age group is very much out there in the world, in the workplace and traveling. And the 20s is that golden age where you want to taste the world and you want the world to taste you. that age where you feel indestructible, reckless, full of your own self-power, a beautiful age to travel, to do all sorts of crazy and wonderful things. So your 20s is a beautiful age. And it's not until you're older, in your 30s or 40s, that you might think back, oh my God, what, how got away with doing that? So there's that wonderful reminder of how you navigated your 20s, that joyfulness, not having to think about consequences, thinking you're young forever. And in your 20s, you are young forever. So honouring your bodies. And then a woman goes into her 30s and 40s, becomes a little bit more interested in finding Mr. Right or Miss Right, and wanting to have her companion by her side and looking to create a family if that's what you want to do. And then settling down, taking up roots, that sort of thing. Your age of 20s of traveling the world are temporarily put on hold and you're prepared to settle. And so honouring your body's wisdom at this age can be tiring because you're the last on the list. So it's really important to go, even though I'm exhausted, even though there never seems to be enough hours in the day, what is it that I need to do to come back to my sense of self? How do I be kind to myself? Instead of the endless thoughts of, what does the mental noise that goes on in managing a home and children and family and jobs and everything, and the shopping and all the stuff, and dogs and pets and adults and other friends and aging parents, and your world is full. And so out of all of that, you have to carve a space, a niche where you can go, okay, put all of that aside. And a nice simple way of doing it is a little 10 seconds. Sometimes I do this in bed, sometimes I tell my clients, and it's to push away the noise. And you close your eyes. In bed is quite nice. You can do it sitting up. In the car, maybe not while driving, of course. Definitely not. But to have all that crazy stuff going on in your thoughts and to just push it, just have a sense of pushing it out of your body, down your legs and out your feet. And that sense of visual pushing makes it seem easier for it to flow out. And then you find that your breath just naturally comes on board as you push out those thoughts, that busyness, whatever it is, that noise, out of your hand, out of your legs and feet. And then you can extend the same. If you think your arms and hands need it too, then do that as well. And then just shake it off a little bit. And that can feel just that sense of letting go, just clearing the noise and coming back to the body without all of that. And there is a sense, and that's that sense of coming home, that sense of honoring your body's wisdom at any age, because your body goes, thank you for that little bit of clear space that you have naturally engaged and invited back in. That can be done. You can teach your daughter that. You can do that for yourself at any age. And so little things like that, as a woman goes through her busy life, are full of people, full of stuff, activities, things to do. How do you slow down? And that's really what honoring your body's wisdom is, tapping into, what does my heart space need? What does my belly need? And then after we've had babies, women are often quite ashamed of their bellies. It's the rare woman that doesn't have a little belly. And then we have this belly that we try and hide away, or, oh, I must lose a few kilos, and on it goes. The perpetual cycle of, I'm not enough. And so honoring your body's wisdom is like accepting this baby produced one baby, two babies, no babies, or tried to have babies, or many babies. This body is your body, and so your job is to accept it, to love it. That is honoring your body's wisdom at any age. Dressing it in clothes that make you feel good, treating your body well, listening to your body's signals, not ignoring them. Mothers are particularly good at this, not hearing the signals, their body's cues of, you need to go to the bathroom now. Putting it off. And then doing that. And so shifting into, this is honoring my body's wisdom. So those little cues, not staying up late at night to finish off some project for your child, to help your child to please, to make a cake or whatever it is. Go to bed at a decent time. Go to bed before your partner goes to bed. Oh, what a treat that would be. Little things like that. What do I need today? What do I need tonight? And then as a woman goes into more of the after menopause, honoring your body's wisdom, that is even a more important time, because then women often feel useless, dried up, spent. No one respects them anymore. No one respects them anymore is perhaps part of it, but the main thing is, does the woman respect herself still? And that's the place to start from. You can't change another person's thoughts. You can't change them as much as you might like to. But what you can do, and this is stuff you already know, you can certainly change your own thoughts. So this is where you come back to. Clear out the debris, let go, push all those thoughts away, give yourself a sense of space, because the body so much craves space. Come back to that space and look at what you've done, how your body presents, and to accept. Give yourself self-respect in that moment. And that is another simple way of honoring your body's wisdom at any age. As you start to age gracefully, going off into, what do we call it? Off into, not sure quite what the word is, but off into the, not the limelight, but a quieter time of your life where you feel more appreciative of the life that you've had so far, the life that you're living in the moment, and of all the good things that are still to come, even in an aging, graceful and generous body that has given so much.
You've been listening to the Healing Practice podcast with Claire Cleaver. If today's episode resonated, you're invited to continue the journey with Claire beyond the podcast. You'll find books, guided resources, workshops, and opportunities to work with Claire one-to-one at thehealingpractice.com.au. Whether you're seeking support, understanding, or a deeper connection to the season of life you're in, there's space there to explore at your own pace. Until next time, trust your body's wisdom, honour where you are, and move gently through the season you're living.